A very good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Dr. Navjot Kaur from Education Department. So, on the behalf of Rekhi Center of Excellence for the Science of Happiness at Guru Kashi University, we welcome all of you and we welcome ma'am. So, Rekhi Center of Excellence for the Science of Happiness at Guru Kashi University was established last year on 23rd November. It was inaugurated in July, and it is a basically the Rekhi Foundation for Happiness is a non-profit trust that was started by Dr. Stender Singh Rekhi and his wife Harpreet Rekhi in 2016. The foundation aims to expand the practice and knowledge of happiness, science, and positive psychology through setting up happiness centers in various universities. So we got this opportunity as well, ma'am. So the Reiki Center of Excellence at Guru Kashi University offers a special course on the science and practice of happiness for all university students. The course is designed to help students to understand the true meaning of happiness and learn about scientific research in this field and develop practical skills to improve their own well-being while spreading happiness to others. So this is a very small initiative to introduce the topic of mindfulness to our all faculty members and to the students, ma'am. So now, without taking much time, I request Dr. Kavita Morani, ma'am, Associate Dean of Education Department, to please present keynote address to our today's speaker, ma'am. Ji, ma'am.
So before that, I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to welcome ma'am.
Great pleasure to welcome Professor Dr. Nellie Deutsch in this session. We are so grateful to you, madam, and I have seen your profile after getting this, information from Dr. Kavita Rani about this workshop, today's workshop, where you have all the inclinations and your forte of technology, blending the modern technology into the delivery of education. I believe that your efforts are make towards making education more inclusive and more blended, use of different platforms, use of technology, enabling environment, and also the kind of attention where the individual care also taken with empathy. That is what I think mindfulness can bring into our curricula, into our pedagogy, and these things can be really very helpful. We have a big gap where you are and where we are. I really admit and would like to emphasize, madam, that the technology gap within Indian, population, Indian schools is very huge. Some schools are, way ahead. Some schools are really left out. They are yet to get introduced to technology. Use of they don't have good infrastructure, whereas some of the institutions have the modern gadgets and modern infrastructure. But how to make optimal use and how to make best use of all these new age interventions in pedagogy. This is what I expect that you being an expert will be dealing today. You may tell more on this, but I am so delighted and so excited to be a part of this workshop with you. And I really look forward to insights on some of these things, and also how can we have low cost, technology, which can make it more inclusive and more affordable. Some platforms in open access, or some tools in open access, resources which we don't have to pay heavy licenses and all that. So this will be more useful to us, along with what you have planned today, if you can throw some light on these things. But I am so grateful that you are doing such a wonderful job of giving free, all your mentoring and all your uh, introduction or expertise to technology and these blended learning methods, which are so relevant today and will become more relevant tomorrow. They will be compulsory or mandatory tomorrow. Today we are looking forward to them, but tomorrow they will become mandatory for all of us. So nobody is left out from any part of the world to be, able to learn and keep pace with the technology and keep pace with the times. So, madam, very hearty welcome uh, on behalf of Guru Kashi University. I am personally indebted to you. I I invite you to have more sessions with us in future, where we can learn on different aspects. Mindfulness is just one aspect. So you may look into this and consider giving us more time in future, so that we can have more sessions. And we will once we know you through your lecture, I think more students and faculty will be more excited and more knowledgeable to be a part of such workshops. We had kept it voluntary for people to join, but they do have parallel classes and examinations are also approaching. So today the number is of participants is modest, but I will say we can have more than double the number or even more. But your recording should be available to us, I guess, and we can play this again in appropriate forums and time. So thank you very much, and very hearty welcome to you. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Thank
Kavita,
you.
may want to say something?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your motivating words. Now, I would like to introduce Madam Nellie with all our participants, and I am very much privileged to introduce her. Madam Nellie is a Canadian education technology expert who organizes online programs for educators worldwide. And at present, she teaches immersive experiences and technologies, AR, VR, fully online at an MSc program at Democratis University of Thrace in Greece. She received her doctorate from the University of Phoenix in a blended learning program in 2010. And it is a great pride that her doctoral dissertation is available on Amazon also. Named Instructor Experiences with Implementing Technology in Blended Learning Courses in Higher Education. Madam Nellie combines technology with mindfulness. Actually, mindfulness is her expertise. I attended her session and as well as a course too. So she combines the technology with mindfulness, peer learning, teamwork in all her programs. She is a relationship-based mentor, researcher, writer, speaker, and community builder. And her teaching experience of 40 years ranges from teaching English as a foreign language in high school and higher education, teaching listening, mindfulness, and leadership courses, academic writing, English for academic purposes, to organize online professional development programs using Moodle and other edtech tools for educators worldwide since 2003. She gives face-to-face and online workshops, speaks at online and face-to-face conferences, and organizes annual informal MOOCs. I attended so many MOOCs, online conferences and online courses and webinars. And she also published so many articles and books. This is one of the great thing about her. She offers annual online events such as Connecting Online and Moodle Moot annual virtual conferences and virtual world MOOCs, online courses for mindfulness, electronic village online 5-week. This is 5-week course for teachers of English as a foreign and second language, and many other online courses. Madam Nellie follows a team, peer, and relationship-based collaborative active learning approach to instruction and learning and teaching as a way to learn. Her experiential humanitarian approach to instruction and learning has earned her the respect of educators around the globe and attracted her to healthy living and healing. And she is an accredited PAIRS, that is practical application of intimate relationship skills, conflict resolution, Reiki practitioner. She practices mindfulness meditation, the Salva method, the Paula method, and the Alexander technique. And Madam has been teaching English to speakers of other language since the mid 70s, and she has been integrating technology into her classes in the mid 90s. And Madam earned her doctorate in education and educational leadership with a specialization in curriculum and instruction from the University of Phoenix. And she is a firm believer in peer team-based collaborative learning too. And she also worked as a consultant for Open University and wikieducator.org, Commonwealth of Learning, Atlantic University, Master of Arts in Transpersonal and Leadership, Master in Education Arts program, and so many things. She also has written various books and chapters on the use of technology and research. And she has also presented on technology enhanced learning, educational leadership at conferences in the US and virtually around the world. And she was on the organizing committee with two others for the Maths and Arts camp and conferences at the Ithaca College in the summer of 2012. And she organized so many panel discussions also. And she was invited as a guest at various conferences and workshops. So there's so much to say about Dr. Nellie. Madam, we are very much lucky to have you with us today. So on the behalf of Guru Kashi University, Faculty of Education and Rekhi Center of Happiness, I welcome you from the bottom of my heart. Again, welcome you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I'm amazed at all the information that you got. That's quite a bit of research, Dr. Rani. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for the introduction.
Thank you.
And I am so grateful to be here because you have started something that is the beginning of exactly what I'll be talking about. And that's happiness, the science of happiness. You are so fortunate. And I think the students and faculty may not realize how fortunate you are. These kind of organizations, university organizations, are mushrooming up in the United States, less in Canada, but they are around the world. And I think India, your university is probably one of the first with such an amazing organization. And you should be very, very proud of your accomplishments and doing that. As far as inclusivity, I agree that it's very important and I believe in it. And I think that this is an example of working together for such inclusivity around the world, because it's not just your faculty and students that are here. Actually, the world is here. There are participants, and if you could add where you're from in the chat box, from around the world. So this is for everyone. And mindfulness is truly something that we can all do, and it does have a ripple effect if we do it. On the left, there's the presentation. If you've got a phone by your side, which I'm sure many of you do, you can view that later. On the right is a course that I provide on mindfulness awareness practice. And it's a 4-week free online course. So we'll start with an overview. First of all, what is mindfulness? If you could add that in the chat, every answer is correct. What is mindfulness for you? Maybe a word, maybe 2 words. What is it? And I think the word probably gives it away. So it shouldn't be that hard. So I see some comments coming up. Being aware, wonderful, present moment. Feel free to add as it comes up. And you can continue adding in the chat. Feel free to use the chat. I think it's important. It's the only way we can communicate. And we can talk to each other without making noise. and disturbing others, you will certainly not disturb me. So first of all, we'll go through what is mindfulness. Hopefully by the end, you'll get a better idea or a more inclusive idea, because it is definitely for everyone, what mindfulness is, why. And I think the fact that you have such an organization, the Science of Happiness, you probably know, those of you that are faculty and students at the university, know why and how to do it. So we'll go through all this. And as I said, feel free to use the chat for questions as we go. It doesn't disturb me. So according to John Kabat-Zinn, and I don't know if you've heard of him, he brought mindfulness to the West, because mindfulness has been in the East for thousands of years. It's not new. And those of you who practice yoga, by the way, how many of you practice yoga? Since we are in India, so hopefully all of you, but maybe not. So if you could add in the chat box, do you practice yoga? Because if you do, you definitely know what mindfulness is, because mindfulness, or being mindful, is part of the asanas. Every action in yoga involves mindfulness. And we'll get to that. It's not easy. Yes, it's quite difficult. In fact, it's very physical. You know, it's like running or doing weights. The heart beats really fast, so you're getting a lot of exercises. So according to John Kabat-Zinn, mindfulness is awareness. It's waking up rather than falling asleep. So it's not the kind of meditation where people say, oh, I fell asleep. I was so relaxed, I fell asleep. That's not the idea behind mindfulness. And it's not the same as other kinds of meditation. It arises from paying attention. So it's waking up on purpose in the present moment, because you are in the present moment. When you do mindfulness, you are completely awake and aware of your body, and specifically your breathing. And you don't judge. You don't judge the thoughts that come up. You don't judge and think about what you're going to do or didn't do and think that's terrible, that's good, this is bad. You don't judge. You accept things as they come for being part of you. And it produces amazing results from just one formal setting. And I said formal because there's also informal mindfulness. A little bit about John Kabat-Zinn. He not only brought it to the United States or to the West, he is currently the professor emeritus of medicine at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. He founded the Center of Mindfulness in Medicine. He is a medical doctor, healthcare, and society there, and developed the mindfulness-based stress reduction. And there are a lot of research studies on this and how effective it is for everyone. He described mindfulness as a way of waking up to the inner workings of our mental, emotional, and physical processes. His teaching emphasized that mindfulness helps us wake up. Wake up from what, you ask? We're not asleep when we're awake, from being in autopilot. And that's where many of us spend most of our time, autopilot. Think about that. So what does it involve? First of all, it involves the present. And you must have heard this a lot. The present, the present, the present. Okay, what does it mean? How do I do it? Because most of us spend most of our time thinking about what happened, and we get stressed because we can't change it, obviously. Or we think about the future. What's going to happen as a result of this? What's going to happen? How will he think? How will she think? What will they think? And that's anxiety, because we can't go into the future. We have no control over the past, and we have no control over the future, but we do have control of ourselves in the present. And this is what we get. You mentioned the science of happiness. The happiest man on earth. This was a research study, and you can find it online by just researching the happiest man on earth, was a Buddhist monk. And they tested him through MRI for 10 minutes while he was doing mindfulness meditation. And according to their studies and studies of others, it turned out that he's the happiest man on earth. And you'll notice that a lot of people who do mindfulness are just happy for no reason. They are just full of life and happy. And mindfulness is obviously the reason. So look at the benefits here: equanimity, efficiency, happiness, positivity, resilience, self-awareness, compassion, creativity, and improved health. Now, wouldn't you want to do it if you could? Eckhart Tolle mentions that stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there. And that's one of our downfalls. The fact that we want and we live in the want and don't go beyond. So this is formal mindfulness. You could sit in the lotus position or cross-legged, like here, or you can sit on a chair with your back straight. You can close your eyes, but with mindfulness, you can keep your eyes open. You don't have to close them, because what we want to see is reality. And we don't walk around with our eyes closed. We keep them open. So one of the recommendations is to try to learn to be with our breath, pay attention to our breath, and keep our eyes gazed slightly down, but open. So we can face all the wonderful things and all the terrible things that come our way head on, without trying to change them or make them go away with our thoughts. Mindfulness is also non-formal, and both of them have wonderful effects on our brain, on our feelings, emotions, and resilience. And you can find this on the research. There's research on the effects of mindfulness, formal mindfulness on our brain, as well as non-formal. Now, what is non-formal? And you can start practicing it right away. You don't need to spend time. You don't need to look for time. All you need to do is be with whatever you're doing. So if you're walking, be there with your body as it walks. Pay attention to your feet, the way they hit the ground, to your arms as they swing, to the action of walking. And you can walk fast or you can walk slow. It's up to you. You don't have to change the pace, but pay attention to your body. And then trust me, accidents will not happen, because when we are with our bodies and we don't let our thoughts control our bodies, because they can't, then we are accident prone. Nothing will happen. We will always notice if there's a stone and not stumble, because we will sense it. We will know that it's there. So walking, whether to work, to class, be mindful. Doing the dishes. I love doing the dishes. And the reason I love it is because I'm mindful as I do it. So you can feel the water coming down, the dishes, the texture. Just be there as you do the dishes and other mundane activities that you hate to do. You will start to love doing them. if you do them mindfully. And of course, there are other things like listening mindfully. And that means not judging. You're not going to judge the way you walk. You're not going to judge the person who's talking. You're just going to let the sound come in. You're not going to think about yourself as they talk. You're not going to think whether you're going to have dinner at 6 or 8 while they're talking to you. You're not going to have anything on your mind except their voice. So listening, eating. You're not going to be reading the newspaper or watching TV or talking as you eat. You're going to focus on eating, reading. Well, most of us do it. Otherwise, we can't read if we don't focus on the reading or pay attention to what's there in front of us. So reading is a good practice for mindful reading. Driving. Imagine what happens when we are thinking of other things and are on autopilot while we drive. That's very dangerous, not only to us, our families, of course, will love us, but also to others. So be considerate. Drive mindfully, walk mindfully, swim mindfully, talk mindfully. Don't judge yourself as you talk. If thoughts come in, like, Nellie, you're talking nonsense here. Maybe you should continue and do it faster. Okay, pay attention to it, but don't let it take over. Come back to what you're doing, to the talk. Awareness means paying attention, being open to what's around us. In my case, or maybe your case as well, it's just the screen. But do it non-judgmental. Don't let the thoughts take over. They're there, we can't control them, but we don't have to let them take over. We can come back to what we're doing, to paying attention, and so on. The practice is a habit. Like anything else, we need to develop this habit if we want to be healthy, accident prone. Not accident prone, actually. And teaching. When we teach others, this has a ripple effect, whether we practice at home, formal or non-formal. It influences our family. I can see how my family members changed as a result of my practice. My students, I can see the difference. They sense it. They may not be aware of what's happening, but it has a ripple effect, just like happiness does. And informal, again, you can do it in this way. Instead of doing a formal mindfulness practice that might be difficult, wherever you are, you don't have to sit in a room by yourself. You can be anywhere. You could be in your car waiting for the traffic light. You could be sitting in the class as a student. While you're sitting, you can do this. Teachers, you can do it as you stand. All you need to do is scan your body. Just scan it. From foot to head, from head to toe, scan it. Just be aware of your body, the different parts. The easiest one is your hands. You can sense your hands firsthand. So feel the sense. Feel your feet. Feel your feet inside your shoes. Feel the floor. Feel the bottom of your seat. You can do this anywhere. And seeing, you're looking. So mindful seeing, mindful listening, as I mentioned. And the most important one that grounds you to the present, which is so important, according to research, is mindful breathing. You don't control your breathing. You pay attention to it. And it's not easy because you need to be quiet inside in order to sense your breathing or hear it. And there are some exercises here, free exercises. These are all clickable, so you can try this once you have the presentation. So what's constant in our world? Well, movement. Things are moving. We're getting older. We're not going backwards. We're only going forward. And there's always movement. Things are always going on. There's never a stop. And that could be very, very hard to live with. And the realization that things are moving and we have no control. We have no control of the weather. We have no control of the government, even if we're there. We have no control of our children. We have no control of our spouses. We have no control of our family. We have no control of strangers. We have no control of the lady in the supermarket. We have no control at all. But we need to accept this. Things happen. We didn't make them happen. They happened. It doesn't matter who caused it. The news, horrible things happen. I'm not going to mention what's happening around the world. We all know it. Social media, people say things. Some are true, some are not. We have no control what they say or don't say. We can't please them. We can't undo what we do. They will not forgive us, or they will forgive us. We have no control of outcomes, health, other people, relationships, thinking, feelings. We can't control our thinking. Our thoughts will come whether we want to or not. Our feelings will come whether we want them or not. We can't control them. And we can't definitely control how others feel. So we're not in charge. We suffer when we have pain. But by the way, doing mindfulness will take away the suffering. Many people have been diagnosed, and there's research on this, with chronic pain, but they don't suffer. The pain is there, but the suffering is gone. And that's not magic. We can accept or ignore. We can fight or we can not fight. Circumstances happen, and we are just part of it. That's our reality. No control. Our heart beats. Anyone here control their heart? I know some people can with practice, but normally we can't. Our heart beats, and thank goodness for that. We are perfect as we are. The heart beats, and our brain, just as our heart beats, our brain generates thoughts. So we have to realize that our thoughts are not us. People's thoughts are not them. Thoughts come, they're generated. It's like we have an AI in our brain that generates thoughts, but we never asked for a prompt. So we're not prompting these thoughts, they just come. Realize that, and don't take your thoughts seriously or your feelings seriously, because they are just feelings. They are just thoughts, just like our heartbeats. And we are distracted by people all the time. Some of us are aware of this and some are just reacting to it. But, you know, they don't have control over theirs either. And unexpected events, traffic. What do you do when you're in traffic? I saw the traffic in New Delhi. A lot of traffic. I wasn't in the car, so I was quite happy. But I wasn't happy when I was in the car because I was in a traffic jam. So what do you do in a traffic jam? Do you stay home, not get sick? Do you not drive? We can't do that. So mindfulness, and this is, I don't know if you're familiar with Swami Muktananda, but this fits my idea and others' idea of mindfulness. Your goal in mindfulness is not to battle with the mind, but to witness the mind. Just watch, be an observer the way you would in a good research study. Just observe. And this is what mindfulness does. It helps us see a lot more. And we see more clearly. We see life as it is, and it's beautiful. So we finally see the beauty. So how do we do it? Well, we have to go into neutral gear because we are forever moving, especially with technology these days. If I didn't practice mindfulness every morning, I don't know if I would survive, and I don't know if I would be able to use technology to the extent that I do, or teach the many courses that I do, or do the many things that I do and survive. You need to be in neutral gear, not 24/7. And definitely you're not at night, because your mind is moving at night as well while you're dreaming. You need to do it consciously. Just stop. Can you stop and be with yourself? I always tell my children, if they have problems, I say, well, you know what? Maybe you should sit with yourself. They understand me so they don't get upset. Okay, but this is something that we need to do. Sit with ourselves and go into neutral gear. Pause. And this is something that I do on a regular basis in my classes, my physical in-person classes. I look at the students and I pause. And they look back at me after a while if they're busy getting together, getting their papers, talking to their friends, and so on. They look at me, I smile, and they smile back. And we all pause together, because pausing has a ripple effect. So we pause with circumstances. They're here, but we pause. This pause is very, very important in our lives. You have to hit the pause button. Your pause button every once in a while, and be kind to your mind. And we need to be kind to our minds. What does mindfulness do? It improves the quality of mind. It also changes the brain. To a great extent, formal mindfulness of 10 minutes a day will change the brain. And there's research and documentation of that. But also the quality of mind. It sharpens your mind. You see more, and you see more clearly, because the clog and all the unnecessary thoughts don't have room. And you practice. This practice strengthens the mind. And you learn to see things microscopically as well as macro. We are distracted by technology, yes, but not only technology, by people, by everything. Things distract us, people distract us, life distracts us. There's chaos all around us. And mindfulness will clear our minds, bring order. Our default will be stopping the pause. Random thoughts will have a different purpose. We'll be able to observe them and learn about ourselves. Face the fact that there's no control with being mindless. But when we practice mindfulness, we are, in some sense, in control, because we decided to sit. And that's powerful with ourselves for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or more. We stop being on autopilot and we start being conscious of things around us. I teach mindfulness awareness practice. I don't call it mindfulness, I call it awareness practice, where students, our teachers, mostly educators, but others as well, learn with technology. And they find their comments, at least, find, and I was kind of surprised by this, that the technology and the activities that I asked them to do actually puts them in mindful practice. They feel that they are being mindful as they do these activities. And that's the idea. So acceptance, clarity, commentaries, joy, efficiency, health. You can see which of these are the result of MAP. We learn to accept things. We become less resistant to things that happen to us. It happened. It's happening. It's going to do no good to say, go away. I don't want you to be here. I'm upset. I don't want to be upset. Please, I don't want to be upset. I'm angry. I don't want to be angry. I'm happy. I want to be happy. It's the same. Being resistant, trying to get rid of our feelings, trying to get rid of things. Unless they're physical, of course, that's easy to do. I'm talking about mental things and emotional. And there'll be less self-talk. During mindfulness, there is self-talk, and we pay attention to it. But it becomes less as we come back to the breath. And so I'm not going to go through this because I've mentioned this. Notice equanimity, suffering, pain. As I mentioned about pain, it's there, but you don't have to suffer. And things improve. Your well-being, both physical and mental, improves. And learning improves. You know, doing mindfulness before a test is an amazing way to score a high grade. I used to do that with my students, my high school students, in fact. This was over 20 years ago. I didn't call it mindfulness. I didn't call it meditation. I called it relaxation exercises. So nobody would think I was a Buddhist or something, doing some religious things with the students. But these days, everybody is aware of mindfulness, at least they've heard of it. They use mindfulness in competitive sports. You need to focus, and what better way to practice by paying attention and training your mind and your brain. And the healing process, much faster. So what about mindfulness in the academia? There's focus and stress. When students are stressed, they don't do well in exams. And I've actually researched this in junior high students, ages 13 and 14, in an action research that doing different relaxation activities before a test helps, because students can't even read the question. They're so stressed. They're so afraid of failing that they don't see the questions, and they answer another question completely different. So focus and lowering stress, resilience. Even if you didn't do well in a test, you become resilient. And you're willing to take another one, and another one, and another one. Without mindfulness, you might not be able to do that. And for faculty, coming to the classroom stressed will not help students. They will sense that. They will either misbehave in the classroom, and you must have seen that and wondered, why are they misbehaving today? You know, it has a ripple effect. Our stress passes on, whether we like it or not. So it's important for teachers as well. And I also believe in reflective practice. You write things down. Even after the mindfulness practice, formal or informal, write things down. Keep a journal of your feelings as a teacher, as a student, what goes on. The more you write down, the more awareness you will develop. You'll be less stressed, more in control of your feelings, resilience, and so on, because you will understand yourself and what's going on around you. And I'm talking about cognitive control, not life control. We don't control life or our bodies. Empathy and compassion. Now, this is very important, comes as a result of the science of happiness. Doing mindfulness has been documented as raising compassion. And compassion is different from empathy. It's a lot deeper and more effective. And of course, creativity and growth. Mindfulness fosters all of these, and that's important at the university or school at any level. This could be done in the classroom. With younger learners, it works. With older learners, there might be resistance. They might not be ready for it. Younger learners are a lot more ready, whether in the lower, very low grades or up to junior high, up to the ages of 14. After that, they will probably find it difficult, but you can do it. You can still do it by modeling breathing in the classroom. Students, you'll find, will start breathing because many students and many teachers do not breathe. They forget to breathe. So it's important to pause a few times during class for deep breathing. You breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth. You can also have small groups for faculty and for students to have these formal sessions. And notice some of their eyes are open, some are closed. So how do we do it? Well, in formal mindfulness, we just sit on a chair or on the floor, cross-legged, or if you're sitting on a chair right now, make sure that you find a comfortable chair. Eyes can be shut or open, as I said. It's up to you, and both are okay. And you can go from open to closed or vice versa. That's fine too. Also doing activities such as walking, washing the dishes, talking, casual work, and disagreements. Imagine what a wonderful disagreement you can have with someone if you're mindful and actually listening to them and not to your own thoughts as they speak. So we're going to start. We're going to practice right now. So are you sitting? Presumably you are. You're not lying down. Sit anywhere on a chair, number one. Now the chair should be a chair where you don't touch the back. You don't lean back, but you sit at the edge so that your feet are flat on the floor, or in your shoes, of course, if you're wearing shoes, are flat. Your back should be straight, but not stiff. Shoulders should not be up. You should be comfortable. If you're not comfortable, it'll take time to get comfortable because many of us don't know how to sit. And since I've been practicing the Alexander technique, my students learn how to sit. You'll see many students slouching over their desks or with their hands. That's not sitting, and it's not appropriate for learning. They will be learning less. Now you can put your hands just above your belly button and keep it there if it's comfortable, but don't put them on your desk. You can put them on your lap and put a timer. Very important to put a timer for yourself. Again, perform with intention. I will sit for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, and pay attention to my breath through my nose, through my belly, my back, wherever you find that works for you, any part. It could be where you're sitting. There's pressure there, so you might be able to sense it there. You can use a guided practice where you're being walked through it, or you can just sit with yourself. Both are fine. We're going to go with a guided. And there is John Gabbett Zinn. We're going to start.
So establishing yourself now in a sitting posture that embodies wakefulness and dignity, either cross-legged on a suitable cushion and mat on the floor, or on a meditation bench or a straight-back chair, allowing your head and neck to be balanced on your shoulders, and the whole of the torso to be erect but not stiff. Placing your hands on your knees or together in your lap in a comfortable way, and allowing your shoulders to be relaxed and dropped. Letting your pelvis provide a stable base to support your upper body, aware of the sensations of contact with the cushion or the chair. In other words, as best you can, sitting with the qualities of a mountain, fully present in the body, stable, grounded, and with an element of uplift to the posture itself. And when you're ready, becoming aware of the fact that you're breathing, bringing your attention to the belly as it expands with the in-breath and deflates with the out-breath, or to the passage of air in and out at the nostrils, or anywhere else that the breath sensations are accessible and vivid for you, and just feeling the breath coming into the body and leaving the body. Riding on the waves of the breath sensations with your full attention as best you can, moment by moment by moment, and breath by breath by breath, as we sit here. In touch as best you can be with the full duration of each breath coming into the body, and the full duration of each breath leaving the body. Feeling the breath sensations as they flux and change moment by moment by moment. Body for an entire practice period. So if you start with the belly or with the nostrils, then the suggestion is to stay with the breath sensations in that region, rather than to jump around. In that way, we are cultivating a greater intimacy and familiarity with the breath, and a greater stability of attention. So just letting each breath come and go of its own accord, feeling the sensations of the breath moving in and out, moment by moment by moment. Of course, you may rapidly discover that it's not so easy to keep your attention on the breath. It doesn't take long to realize that just as in the body scan, the mind has a life of its own and will invariably take off into the past or the future, planning or worrying, liking or disliking, daydreaming or reverie, impatience or boredom, or even sleepiness. This is totally normal and not a problem at all. When you notice that your mind is no longer on the breath, then noticing what is on your mind in that moment, and then gently letting go of whatever it is, which doesn't mean pushing it away, but just recognizing it and letting it be, as we escort our attention back to the belly or to the nostrils, back to this breath, whether it's an in-breath or an out-breath. And once again, reestablishing the breathing center stage in the field of awareness. And if the mind wanders away from the breath 100 times, as it surely will, each and every time when we become aware that it is someplace else, we gently and patiently note what is on our mind in this moment, whatever it is, perhaps even making a light mental note such as thinking, or planning, or worrying. And without being harsh or critical or judging of ourselves, we simply recognize what is arising for what it is and let it be, as we come back to feeling this breath in this moment and begin again and again and again, each time for the first time, each moment the only moment, since our lives are unfolding here and now, and only here and now, no matter what our thoughts are telling us. Mind to wander, it's not that you are failing at meditation if your mind doesn't stay on the breath. It's that you're discovering something exceedingly important about the nature of the mind itself, and that is that it waves, just as the ocean waves. So it's never a matter of putting a stop to it, trying to shut off your thinking or make your mind go blank, but rather familiarizing yourself with the nature and the ways of your own mind, and cultivating a deeper intimacy with it through gentle observation, grounded in an awareness that is bigger than thinking, and wiser than thinking, and usually kinder than thinking. An awareness that grows out of our bringing the mind back to the breath gently but firmly, over and over and over again, allowing each in-breath to be a new beginning, and each out-breath a complete letting go. So sitting here now, mountain-like, fully awake, with a light touch, resting in awareness, not forcing anything, but as best we can, being fully in touch moment by moment with the breath as it comes into the body and as it leaves the body, and coming back over and over again when we lose touch with it momentarily, as we stay here, sitting. Until the end of this segment of the sitting meditation practice. If you are extending your practice today to include one or both of the following tracks that expand the sitting practice, then just continuing right through the bell with a seamless continuity of moment-to-moment awareness. Otherwise, please use the sound of the bell to mindfully bring this period of formal practice to a close.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a guided, formal mindfulness meditation practice. It was
Thank you
10
so
minutes.
Thank you. It was really interesting, and I'm feeling relaxed so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you.
Thank you. And there are others. There is a site, and I'm going to share it with you, where you can actually get the length that you want. If 10 minutes is too much, there's 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and you can practice body scan, guided body scan, as well as other kinds of practices on this site. Notice you simply download it. You can use your phone for this. You can take it wherever you go, so that if you have a couple of minutes, you can start listening to it. It's completely free. And yes, you can do it. You need to develop a daily practice, and you can do it, so that when unpleasant thoughts, pain, or fear set in, you can bring your attention back to the body and breath. That's how we get rid of panic attacks and of stressful moments. Simply bring your attention to your body and your breath. And in order to develop habits, there are various research tools out there. One is by Charles Duhigg, one is by Matt Cutts, where you try something for a month and changing habits. The best one is by B.J. Fogg in a book called Tiny Habits. And you can also listen to his TED Talk. And practice mindfulness in the classroom so that your students develop these important skills, and you yourself as well as the teacher: compassion, care, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. And if you wish, you can take the course. You can actually go through the course. If you're curious about my course, you can go in as a guest and take a look. There's the QR code. Take a look at the course and see what's there and join next year in April. There's the presentation once again. If you want to join my YouTube channel or connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook, you're welcome to do that. These are the references that I'm sure you'll find useful reading. And there's also the book by B.J. Fogg and Jewig, The Power of Habit, and Richard Davidson, that's also famous for the work that he has done on mindfulness, and others. So I'd like to thank you for allowing me to share this with you. So thank you very much.